Hey guys, what's up? So in this video, what we're looking at is major projects that have been used or they use Python, the Python programming language, as either the primary source of language to do most of their daily routines or to run like their entire stack. So I could list like literally hundreds, maybe even thousands of different applications or companies that use Python in one way, shape, or another or form. But this video is more about who uses Python extensively and how did Python actually get their project, off the ground. So a lot of people try to say that Python's not a real language. It's a dynamically interpreted language. It's not as fast as a static language like C++ or something like that. And all that is actually true in the sense that Python is not fast. However, you can develop very quickly. And when we start talking about microseconds for a dynamically compiled language to a statically typed language like C++, where Python makes memory management and all that stuff, you don't have to worry about that with Python where you do with C++. So the amount of development time that is decreased using something like Python more than makes up for the fact that it's not as fast as something like C++ or even C Sharp or Java for that matter. And most of the times, if Python's being used for the project, then speed is not necessarily an issue to the point of what it would be like with video games and things like that. However, we will see in this video that Python's even used for video games. So the fact of the matter is, Python is good, and all those naysayers that say Python is bad, I say ha and no, and that is a Wreck-It Ralph reference. So Python is good. It's a great language. It's not going to be the best language for everything out there, but then again, there is no one size fits all perfect language for all the different projects that you want to build out there. But the fact of the matter is, don't believe what you hear about Python being slow and all that other stuff. Python is most certainly fast enough to get the job done for a lot of major companies, as we're going to see in this video. So first up, Google's entire stack, when it was first getting off the ground in the 90s, all the way until the early 2000s, was exclusively in Python. And we're not even talking about modern day Python. We're talking about old school Python. Python's been around since like 1990 and was still a relatively new language when Google decided to use it. And the entire original Google search engine and everything else with the way that the Google company operated was completely written in Python. Once speed started becoming a major factor, they started rewriting a lot of those libraries in C++, but they still use Python extensively. And if it wasn't for Python, we probably wouldn't have Google. So that is definitely the largest company that has embraced Python. Now, one company that I should also mention that honestly I didn't add to this slideshow is IBM. IBM has also been a contributor to the Python language and an early adopter as well, but I forgot to mention them. So next one, we have the website Disqus. At one point, Disqus was serving something like 8 billion users a month. So Disqus is a commenting forum, but the entire comment uses the Django web framework, and it allows you to take a piece of JavaScript code and just plug it right into your website. So there was, at one point, it seemed like every website out there was using Disqus as a commenting platform. There's still quite a bit of sites using Disqus, but it's all written in Python and using the Python Django web framework to be specific. Next, we have Dropbox. Dropbox's entire stack was written in Python. They're actually starting to use some Go from what I understand now. However, they even hired the Python creator Guido van Rossum away from Google, where he had been employed for at least 5 or 6 years before that. So he now works at Dropbox full time, and Dropbox was definitely using a Python stack and still does. Quora, a popular social commenting website where it has a lot of like real professionals that are commenting. It's almost like a Reddit, but a little bit more professional when it comes to maintaining, who can comment and how comments are being voted up and things like that. So it's very similar to Reddit, but it's definitely a Python website. Next, we have Pinterest, and unfortunately, I don't have my Pinterest image here. That's kind of weird. But Pinterest is obviously a big website. Here's another one, Reddit.com. Reddit, everybody I'm sure has heard of it by now, but Reddit is definitely a very popular website. Next is Mozilla. At one point, Mozilla served something like 500 million requests per day or some ridiculous number like that, or maybe that was a month. I don't remember. But all I know is that the Mozilla plugins website is actually all written in Django as well, using Python. The next is the programming language of choice with the new Raspberry Pi, the computer chips that kids are embracing for electrical engineering, has Python built into the chip and already installed, so that kids can start writing in Python to integrate their Raspberry Pi into whatever it is that they're trying to make with it. Next is the website The Onion. The Onion is a very popular website. Literally, I don't have the exact figures, but we're talking about millions of users. Go to The Onion. It's a news-based website, and it also uses Django. We have Instagram, another Django Python website, and Instagram definitely uses Python for their front end. YouTube is a huge user of Python, so that is awesome to know as well. Python, now with YouTube, obviously they are owned by Google, but they are still a separate entity. At one point, YouTube was its own company, which got acquired by Google, which I think was in 2008. But YouTube makes heavy use of Python. iRobot is using Python for actual robotics, so that's pretty sweet. Yelp, one of the largest websites when it comes to actually rating businesses and restaurants across the world. Yelp is completely written in Python. The original BitTorrent client was actually written in Python. So all the pirating sites out there that use things like uTorrent for pirating movies to software to whatever, the original BitTorrent was all developed in a Python technology, and is still made use of by Python. So Python hackers actually contributed to the BitTorrent client, which we've now seen be used to pirate software on an astronomical level. Python is also used for games. So one game, EVE Online, is actually like their entire server system is all tied together using Python, which is pretty cool. This is a very popular online game. Python also has the Panda 3D, and it's a gaming framework. So Disney used it for their Pirates of the Caribbean game, which was a massive online multiplayer game. Kind of sucked, but still it was very cartoony, and I mean it worked good. It just was it was a crappy game. A lot of games suck, but that didn't really necessarily have anything to do with Python. However, I will mention that even though there's a couple of games that use Python in one way, shape, or form, like Python is not really the type of language that you would use to make games. I mean, typically you're going to be more confined to like C or C++ because you do need that massive speed. And when we start talking about thousands of requests per second, Python is dynamically interpreted. It's not compiled like a static language, so there is definitely a speed factor there when it comes to whether or not you should use Python if speed is a major issue. If you're doing some basic text crunching or scraping like Google does, like scraping data from one page to the next, Python most likely fits the bill for that type of thing. Programmers can write the code very easily and quickly in Python, and the speed difference is hardly noticeable to a typical human. But once again, once you start amplifying that by thousands of requests or millions of requests a minute, you start to see where speed does become an issue when you compare Python to something like C++. So those are just some of the websites out there, and I just wanted to say that those are obviously some major brands out there that are using Python. Python's also the most taught language now as an introductory programming language in IT schools around the world, which includes Carnegie Mellon, MIT, Stanford. They're all using Python. It's free, it's open source, it runs on Linux, it runs on Mac, it runs on Windows, and it just makes it easy. So it's all user contributed. It's been around now for going on 3 decades. Yeah, 90. No, wait, no. Yeah. So we're going on 2 decades actually, but still, it's been a long time, and Python's definitely not going anywhere at this point. It's in the top 10. It's firmly embedded in the top 10 programming languages out there. There's a lot of jobs out there for it. I didn't mention some of the data sciences divisions, but a lot of like bioinformatics and just data sciences, machine learning, big data is all intertwined with Python. So Python's actually one of the go-to languages when it comes to machine learning, which is going to be a huge factor going into the future when you combine machine learning with big data, and scripting it all together using something like Python. So anyway, guys, Python's definitely a good language to learn. It's not the #1 language when it comes to enterprise development, not compared to Java or C Sharp. But if somebody tells you that Python's a shitty language, then they have no idea what they're talking about. Anyway, guys, I appreciate your time and thank you for watching. You have a good day. Bye.